Listen up. Be you. You got this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Keto, rock stars, stay strong. Be you. Bacon, beef, butter. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto rock stars. Keto on, stay strong. Be you. Keto rock stars.
Welcome, Keto Rock Stars. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a great night. Happy New Year. This is the first live stream of the new year, and we have a very special guest for you. And this is Coach Dena Barrett from the PhD. I met Dena from the PhD coaching course. How are you doing tonight, Dena?
I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for coming on Keto Rockstars. Before we get started and I turn it over to you to tell your story, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, Coach Juliet had to cancel her live stream tonight because of an emergency. She's okay, but she wanted me to let you all know she missed you, and she apologizes for having to cancel her live stream. So I promised her I would tell her that. Also, announcement next week. So you may have seen a poll. Next week, I have a choral concert at 3 p.m. And I don't have a guest scheduled. So I was wondering if you guys wanted me to wing it and we could do an open panel where anybody can come on, or if you just want me to cancel it. So if you could go ahead and answer that poll, and by the end of the stream, we will decide whether we're going to do an open panel next week or nothing. And then also later on in the stream, I want to talk about Keto Palooza. This channel would not be here if it weren't for Keto Palooza. Keto Palooza is where I met Dustin. I met Dr. Barry and Nisha. I met Coach Alyssa. I met so many people. I met the Bears. So many people I met, and they are the ones who encouraged me to start my own YouTube channel. So I just want to let you know later in the stream, after we get through Dena's story, I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. Let's say hi to a few people. We've got Rick, we've got Brian Dish, we've got Carrie. And Carrie, I'm sorry, I had to reboot and I lost your joke, so I can't read that at this point. We have Lynn 22QCat. We have John Schmovie in the house. Thomas is here. Let's see. Grandma's Crochet Corner, my very dear friend Barbara's in the house. John Together Strong. Welcome, John. Hope you're doing okay tonight. Sandy Blythe is here. Sharon Steadfast is here. I think I said hi to Brian Dish, but if I didn't, hello. Holly Springer's here. Welcome, everybody. Okay, you'll also notice I have this new chat thing going on above my head. That is my automatic chat reader to help me out because you guys are just too insane. I can never keep up with the chat. As always, if you have a question for Dena or if you have a question for me, please put QQQ in front of it and I will make sure that gets read. Okay. One other announcement real quick. I want to give a couple thank yous out to Sharon Steadfast 20 for the Buy Me a Coffee and A Mason for the Buy Me a Coffee. Those do not display on the screen. So I have to give a special thank you to those people. Okay. So Dena, tell us about your proper human diet journey, how you found this way of life, this way of eating, what got you started, any health issues you may have experienced, anything you want to share about your personal journey. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, and this experience may sound familiar to some of you, but over the so many years of my life, I went through all sorts of advice that was coming through to me, to most people, about what healthy eating and healthy life was. And I can even remember back when they were really starting to promote so-called vegetable oils like Crisco and Wesson oil. For those of you old enough to remember when those were big, and all along the idea was basically that normal natural food that actually, when you look back way back in human history, that humans used to eat was bad for you. And just like today in modern times, there's a lot of effort to tell people that red meat is particularly bad for you and beef is particularly bad for you, and that you should have a synthetic impossible burger made with all these chemicals that you've never heard of instead, and it'll be healthier for you. Well, back in those days, I think I, like most people, wasn't aware of all the propaganda that was really going on and how the food industry was doing things to maximize profits. And it turns out the way they can do that is ultra processed food that's not really good for you and that we're not really adapted for, is telling you that was bad, that was good for you, that it would make you healthier, and that you get away from natural foods. And except they would throw in a few things here and there about eating vegetables, but even the way plant-based food was promoted, a lot of it was promoting processed plant-based food too.
Right.
And so on. So, I went through people that know about the Atkins diet and this idea that, well, if you can eat, at least in some versions of it that I remember, I think that kind of evolved, but for a while it was about eating whole grains, but lots of whole grains instead of, white bread and white flour and white rice and so forth. But that wasn't getting me any better. There was a time in my life when I was younger that I was in a life situation where I didn't have my own kitchen for extended period of time, and I would have to eat out all the time, and I was consuming huge amounts of food because it was the cheapest food that was made with what now referred to as seed oils, which people more commonly call vegetable oils, and they use those and reuse that oil. And something I know from my science background is that chemically changes the oil into something that's quite different from what it was in the natural foods that we ate. If we ate, say it's corn oil, it becomes actually a totally different chemical composition than the original source from the corn that it was in too.
Yeah, it's scary.
And so during that period of time, I got really sick, and one time with the flu, and then this is a period where I was eating out all the time, and a lot of foods fried in seed oils. And I could just see my body become more and more inflamed, and I started having digestive problems, and none of the doctors had any idea what was going on, and never any advice that could really help. So, and all kinds of things, trying to change what I ate, but it wasn't doing anything. And that was before keto had come along, and I knew about that. But then, so that was, I didn't get huge weight gains, but I was like slowly gaining weight. But more, it was like I could see the changes in my body, and I was starting to get sick a lot more easily. And then I started to have problems with, it seemed like every little virus or bug of some kind would go to my lungs, and I would have coughing fits for weeks and things like that. So then several years ago, keto came along, and I saw that it made some sense, but then, I think I didn't really understand what I understand now about the nuances of how you do a proper human diet. And so there was a lot of effort by people promoting foods to eat keto, quote unquote. Some of them weren't entirely really keto. Some of them were close, but still not fully. But foods that were like all the comfort foods that we know, the sweets and the pastries and fresh baked bread and so forth. And then this idea that there was net carbs, so that you could make up for eating a lot of carbs by putting in fiber, and that would somehow magically make it lower carb again. So I was doing all these things, and I was listening to these people saying, "Oh, it's so easy, and you never get hungry after you change your diet this way." Well, that didn't happen with me. I was still hungry all the diet all the time, trying to force in things, force dieting, and it was really hard because of the cravings. And I'd make it through. And then part of what I started to keep on hearing was, "Oh, you just need to eat fewer meals per day, and you need to fast longer and harder, and then you'll really start losing weight and get healthier." But what happened to me is I tried to tough it out, not perfectly, but close to eating I could never quite make entirely a water fast because the cravings were so hard, but I eat something, a real little something, and then I would just tough it out the rest of the day. And I say, "Okay, I haven't lost any weight." And I would go day after day. I never went beyond a week, but I would go up to a week, and I would temporarily lose weight, and then I would just start to gain it back really fast. I tell the story to people sometimes. This just tell you how hard it was for me at that time. Was I went on, I remember in particular one backpacking trip I went on where it was like a week long, and I had no control over what I ate because the leaders chose that, and we're not supposed to bring our own food, and we're supposed to rely on that. So it was like totally ultra processed food, and I would feeling really terrible the first couple of days going on that, and then the leaders would say, "Oh, well, how much training did you do for this trip?" And then when I wasn't feeling well, they tried to load me up with sugar and things like that. So that's what you need. You need more carbs. And going through that, finally I started to feel okay after 2 or 3 days of that, and then I could hike well. But then, I'd come back at the end of the week, and I've been doing this like 8 hours or more of really hard, strenuous activity with like 40 pounds on my back, and all day, every day, and I'd gained weight at the end of that trip. And then I couldn't really get back on keto for months since then. But of course, I still didn't really understand. So sort of fast forward to this and going through these periods where I'm trying to diet and I lose some weight, and then I gain it back. And I started to learn more over the years, and the last 3 or 4 years, especially 3, 4, 5 years, I really started to hone in on things like, okay, I'm seeing this information. These seed oils are really, they really are bad news. And it made sense to me because I know something about chemistry. So, because my professional background. So, and then I thought, oh gosh, how come we all fell for this, that all these things were better for us. So I got better at that. I got lower carb. If you know anything about Dr. Ken Berry's proper human diet spectrum, which I think is a really marvelous and useful way to look at things, you get rid of first thing, you get rid of all the processed foods. You get rid of unnatural things in your diet, like the seed oils I've been talking about. And you go, at least on the first part of the spectrum, you go to lower carb vegetables and not any processed plant food. And then as you go further on the spectrum, all the way to carnivore, then because, and I saw this in a video, that these are things that actually didn't, all this I didn't fully understand really until I started taking my health coach certification class, which Amy is in.
Which is this current class, right?
Yes.
Wow. So have you ever tried carnivore, or are you just still kind of ketogenic?
I have been on carnivore for a solid month now, to fast forward to the current time. And I am really, and I'm going to tell you about how that's changed. So far, it looks revolutionary for me. Now, Dr. Barry says, and I remember him saying this in a recent video, that he sees about 10 to 15% of people have the metabolic issues that come from all these years of unhealthy eating, and perhaps some genetics contributing to it too, that about 10 to 15% people can really benefit by going all the way to totally to carnivore.
Yeah.
So I had been at the start of this class, the certification class that I'm in now, had already been down to low keto, about 20 grams of carbs a day.
Total, right? Total carbs.
Yeah, right. Which is a very small percentage. With a few exceptions, I'll admit, for holidays, but actually not that many, just like no more than once a month. So it's not like I was doing that a lot. I was pretty solid on it. And, but I was still I'm still not really losing weight, but more importantly, I wasn't losing the central body fat, which is what really bothered me more than anything. Is I ended up not losing a lot of weight and but looking healthier, then I will be happy because I've realized over time, unlike what I thought when I was younger, that it's not all about the weight, even though
It
that's
isn't.
something that's, that I'm sure we all get worried about, but still,
Yeah.
really,
I've gained 30 pounds since going from keto to carnivore,
mm,
but I feel better. So, I mean, I
yeah,
just have to get over the fact that, I might be a size up in pants or two. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But it's right. I feel so much better. And so, so how long ago did you go keto? Do you know how many years approximately?
Yeah, it's hard to say exact amount of time because the early versions of keto that I understood weren't always totally keto. Like if you do the net carbs thing, you could end up with 20% of your calories and
Yeah.
as carbs, but you're fooling yourself with the net calculation that you're only having 10%. But that was that sort of range of 10 to 20% was about 5 years ago. And then um, gradually, and I would say the last couple more than the last couple of years, I've been down to 20 or 30 or 40 grams of carbs and without any seed oils. And
Mhm.
pretty faithfully and not losing weight, but more importantly, not losing the the flab in your
That's
belly
okay.
and so forth, and that was really concerning to me because well, all the experts on insulin resistance say that that's a really indicator that you're at risk for diabetes
Right.
and associated things. And yeah, so I was feeling better. I wasn't getting sick anywhere near like I used to. All great wins on keto, but there were still some things wrong. And I'm actually trying to get some more because I've learned from this class this is important too to get more comprehensive testing done to find out what
Yes.
else I might be dealing with.
Mhm.
That's not always in the standard testing that doctors do. So with all that I'm learning through the certification class um, and doing extra reading and and watching videos and all that, I really learned that um, carnivore isn't this ultra exotic thing that, well, yeah, maybe for a few really handful of individuals that have some specialized health condition they may need, but that it can be a, a step that people need to take if you're in a condition like I was to really get the optimum health. So I've been since November mostly carnivore, and then for about a month now, I have to count up the exact days, but around a month, um, totally carnivore. I've only had
Yay.
one day eating out where I had half a serving of green beans. And I've also cut out dairy. And what I found is that all of a sudden, what some people had talked about and for years on keto It was so easy for them, and the pounds went away like that, and then they weren't hungry anymore between meals and so forth. Wasn't me, but on carnivore, that's it. Now, in fact, and so I'm feeling much better under more complete control of what I can do. In fact, I've been cautioned by a couple of people, and this may be a real problem. I'm still trying to explore this, is that I'm actually eating too little now.
Oh, yeah, that can be a thing.
Yeah. So I'm learning about that. Yeah. And I'm so I'm you know, I wish I had discovered this earlier, but I'm also thankful that I've had this experience and that my particular situation in my body has been this way, that I had to go through all these things over the years, and to really understand how important it is. And when you're doing health coaching and trying to help somebody on their life's journey to better health, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's reaction to certain programs that you may do, everybody's ideal macros may be different, and they may change over time as what's best for you. And now, because for me, I'm not trying to extrapolate this to everyone, because I'm really careful now not to do that, because
Right.
so many people have done that in the past, and I've been led astray, and they were meaning well, but they were wrong to extrapolate they didn't realize how different people's situation is.
Yeah.
What this
Yeah, and
has helped me to realize that.
that's amazing. You said that in the nighttime class on Friday, and I was just, I got goosebumps. I'm like, that is what this is about. It's not about and I just got to throw this in here, because when I wanted to become a health coach, I have this plan that I've been sharing with everybody for years. Just do these things and you'll get results, which now I'm learning everything that I thought. Yeah, you can give them a list of things to try, but not all of them may work for each individual. Each individual needs a customized plan based on what they themselves can do mentally, and based on what works for their bodies and what state of life they are in, what hormonal, state they are in, what stress state they are in, what sleep state they are in. You can't just say, do this thing and expect it's going to work for them. Sorry, I have floating emojis all over my screen. It's one of the fun
Oh,
things that I do.
well, that's
Do you mind if I say hi to a few people that have joined?
Go ahead.
Jonathan, Carnivore Muscles here. Dustin, Keto Simples here. Kelly, Broken Carnivore. Papa Carnivore is here. Paul's here. Wendy is here. Evelyn joined us. Welcome. She's my awesome moderator. Ricky Lee's in the house. Spanky, who I just released his Carnivore Avenger, the Spankinator, is here. Welcome. And Boston Danny's in the house. Welcome, everybody. And yes, Peter, Dena and I met through the PhD coaching course. And if you can't tell already, Dena's going to be an amazing coach. Dena is totally getting like everything out of this course. And Dena, you're going to be an amazing coach. I just can tell, especially because you're able to just have compassion and listen. And you're going to be great with understanding what clients need and, being empathetic towards them. Oh, and one other thing, Carrie's joke came up. Carrie's joke that I lost because I had to reboot was, did you hear YouTube, Twitter, before it was X and Facebook merged, it would be you twit face. So that was Carrie's joke of the day. Thank you, Carrie. And if you have a question for Dena, be sure to post QQQ into the chat. So about how long, you said you've been carnivore since November.
Now,
were you keep
mostly, now I want to say I did have a few cheat days in November, but the last 4 weeks I have had no cheat days.
That's awesome. So through the holidays even, really, right?
Yeah, through the Christmas, not through the Thanksgiving holiday season. But it's not like I went totally off board. But yeah, I definitely for Thanksgiving and a couple other meals that time, I definitely went not totally off the rails for a meal that day, but definitely much higher carb and more plant food than I would on a real carnivore. And this is what I think I'm learning for myself is that I'm probably one of those 10 or 15% that, if not, it will scare people away but for some people, you may have to, it may be, at least, I shouldn't say have to, but it may be the best thing for you if you're willing to do it, to just stick with it. Because,
Carnivore, you say?
yeah, for some
Yeah.
people, and, you know, listen to some of Kelly Hogan recently, and I think she's an example of a person that thinks probably for her and her particular situation. Again, I'm not applying this to everyone, and don't. But it's really best for our optimal health for her to stay on it and be really faithful to it. But I want to say to people is that I thought for years and years that it was just too hard to consider that. And plus, I listened to some of the fear mongering and then just that it was not really a thing for most people at all. So, I thought I could not do it. And I will say for the first few days, it was really hard. And I had to learn some things like if the meat I ate was too lean, it would almost I'd have just a really bad feeling and almost want to throw up. My body is reacting. And I think in the past, as I had been eating too lean of animal protein meal, I would have turned to carbs. But now I turn to healthy fat, and I'll emphasize healthy, natural, animal-sourced fat, and increasing that, having fattier steak or having some butter if there's not enough in the meat cut that I'm eating. And so for me, it's been much easier to stick to that. In fact, now, ironically, I'm not sure if I'm eating enough every day, and I'm still trying to figure that out. And, I'll figure it out over time.
You'll figure it out. We've been learning to track and do all the things, right? And so you can plug in what you want to eat into one of the apps that they've recommended, and then every day maybe just increase it a little bit until you get up to where you think you should be eating. Some people eat OMAD and they just try to cram in. I do too mad personally. I do too mad, but my problem is I eat too much, even on carnivore. But I got to tell you, Dena, I did protein sparing modified fasting. Do you know what that is? That is something Maria Emmerich introduced, and it broke me through a 2-year weight loss stall, right? And
is that the same as fat fasting, or is it a little
no,
different?
it's the opposite. So protein you eat you eat 1 to 3 days a week of nothing but lean protein, like lean chicken breast, egg whites,
Oh, I don't
shrimp.
know if I could do that based on what I felt when I was eating
No,
them.
no. And honestly, it
Yeah.
worked great and I felt great for 4 years. I did this for 4 years, right?
Oh,
And I got
wow.
down to my lowest weight since almost high school. And but then something changed this spring. I was exhausted all the time. I felt like I wasn't going to wake up from bed. Like I had a bunch of stress in my life and I was just feeling horrible. So I decided to try carnivore. And I've been listening to Kelly Hogan. I've been listening to Anthony Chafee. I've been listening to, all of the Dr. Barry. And I'm like, okay. So you say if I only eat meat and eggs and I cut the cheese and everything else out, that I can have as much fatty meat as I want. Well, I think because my body was used to running at such a low metabolism for 4 years, when I ate the meat with the fat, it didn't know what to do with it. And so now I'm gained weight but I'm trusting the process, right? I'm trusting the process because Kelly Hogan and Steak and Butter Gal, Bella, she came from veganism. They both gained a ton of weight when they went carnivore, and then over time the weight fell back off. So this will be an interesting experiment on myself that I can learn from to see, is my weight going to stabilize, or maybe I'm just supposed to be this weight. Maybe it's healthy to be a little bit heavier. And I lost 110 pounds and I've gained like 25 to 30 of that back. So it's not like I put on
And you
50
you were
pounds.
doing something really unusual that not many people do with the protein sparing diet. And you said for 4 years you did it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I felt
Yeah,
so
so you could,
great doing it.
I don't obviously know for sure, but the theory that your body needs a long time to recover from that basically uh, deficiency, because
Hmm.
for optimal metabolism you do need the fat. I think I'm learning that a lot, and people like Dr. Berry and Kelly Hogan will tell you that over and over again. You need the healthy fat in your diet, and some people need
Yeah.
a lot of it more than others. And
Hmm.
so it would make sense, at least in theory, for sure, that you would need a longer time to get over and recover your metabolism into its fully healthy state.
Yep, I agree with that. And I think that's what's going on. That's why I haven't abandoned carnivore. Now, I too, like you, over the holidays, I had a few keto treats. I had some I had some keto chow fudge. Okay, it wasn't sad diet fudge, but I was making it. It was really hard not to taste some of that. I had on accident, I had some spinach artichoke dip because that was something we always did for New Year's Eve, right? And so I bought some, not thinking about the oxalates in the spinach, right? Or thinking that I was thinking, oh, this is like a cheesy dip. It's carnivore ish. And so I had some pork rinds and then I ate it. And then after I ate it, I'm like, I just ate something that has a lot of oxalates in it, right? So I too, but now I'll be honest with you. And then we had a lot of ham and a lot of turkey because that's what we fixed over Christmas. And I don't know about you, but I feel better on beef. Like I feel better on beef. So, I mean, I can't afford all beef, but I feel better. So, I've been eating nothing but beef and eggs for the last 3 days, and I feel so much better than I did after eating ham and chicken. Do you notice you feel better when you eat certain foods?
Oh, I do, and it's really sort of amazing is that I almost immediately notice a difference. Like nowadays, I rarely buy chicken breast, but I got a little bit on sale, and when I started eating the chicken, for anybody that doesn't know, chicken breast I think is about the isn't it about the highest protein, lowest fat meat you can
Yes.
possibly eat, right?
Yes.
I didn't feel well, and and almost immediately I started craving have some butter or something to go with it, um, and so yes, I and pork for whatever reason I don't feel as well on pork either. I don't believe. Uh, so I try to eat more beef. Now, what I do is I'll to give me some variety, I'll throw in a chicken thigh with a hamburger
Mm-hmm.
or or
Yes.
or something like that, and that I really enjoy it. And then it helps me from not getting sick of eating meat too early because now for me, I have to worry about eating enough. And see, you, Amy, you and I are in different life situations. We have a
Uh-huh.
different history, and there's different things that we have to heal from our metabolism. So it makes sense that the solutions are not, at least not right now, going to be exactly the same. Now, I don't know how it's going to change for me in the future, or it's going to change for you in the future, but this is where we are now.
Yep. Yes. So we have a couple questions. Let me say hi to a few more people who've joined us. Rick got there. I think I don't know how to say your last name, so I apologize, but we have several Ricks. Donna Ray is in the house. Welcome, Donna. Carnivore Farm Mom, which is Cass. Welcome. We have somebody new, Livid 5YM. Thank you for joining us. Coach Angela Mullins is in the house, and Angela's also our classmate. Welcome. Praying for your mom, Angela. Aaron Booby Goats is in the house. Welcome, Aaron. That is Butter Woman in my Avenger series. Juju Gemma is here. Thank you guys for joining. So we have Carrie says, oh, I already read that one. Carrie says, since you are in this coaching, I am having issues with salt. I was using Redmond's and then I had swelling in my ankles and lower legs and stopped and they are getting better. Okay. So Carrie, we are not doctors or medical professionals. Okay. So we can't tell you why you were having swelling. So in that situation, what I would probably do if you have salt and then you get swelling, I know that you go to the VA. I would strongly suggest going to your doctor and having some tests run. And the reason why I say that is because my mother has issues with salt. And she has some specific issues that mainly with her kidneys and her heart. So when she has salt, she swells. So I can't diagnose you with anything, obviously, but yeah, Carrie
I
says he
think
doesn't have a doctor. The VA sucks. Yeah, I can't tell you why you swell when you have salt. I don't swell when I eat salt. That is going to be, I think, a situation that a medical professional would need to run some tests on you to see what's going on. I don't know what do you think, Dina?
right. I'm of course not going to give any medical advice either. I was only going to say that there are people that I trust, like Dr. Ken Berry,
Mm-hmm.
who discuss um, salt, and so you can Google, for example, his name and salt and see what comes up
Yep.
and educate yourself. You're probably not going to get your own personal situation addressed, of course,
Mm-mm.
but at least you can learn more about salt and how it affects people differently from doing that, and help you
Yeah.
to ask the right questions for your
Mhm.
doctor when you go to see him or her.
Oh, my brother. This is my brother, and he's got Beaker. Hey, Andy. He's saying hi to us. Sorry, I noticed he changed his thing to Beaker. Welcome, bro. So back to Carrie. Carrie, yeah. So obviously, if you cut back on the salt and you feel good, I mean, you got to do your N equals one, right? If the salt is making you swell and then you cut back on salt and you feel good, then there's your answer, right? There's your answer. If you don't swell when you don't eat the salt. So yeah, Andy, you made me smile. Thank you. Juju has a question. Okay, let me toggle this. So Juju asks, oh wait, before we go to Juju, Spanky, Golf Addict 65 has a question. He says, I'm having a brain fart. What is it you can only eat on a lion diet? I believe it's salt, water, beef, lamb, goat,
Venison.
venison, ruminant animals, salt, water. They even say no coffee. So, I mean, I'm out because coffee and eggs, I have to
Here,
have eggs.
here's the funny thing is it turns out the healthiest food for humans is meat from ruminant animals that eat plants 100%. Isn't
Isn't
that
that
wild how the
funny?
world works?
I know. So, see, you still get your plants when you eat meat.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% plant-based diet. And it's natural for them. They've been doing it for millions of years and they're very well adapted and their digestive system is totally different from us. So when you think about it a little more deeply under the surface and you realize it makes sense that the optimal diet for us, and apologies to anybody that's vegan that may be listening to this, but I think unfortunately this is true that a totally plant-based diet is not the most healthy thing for humans. It's not something that we're well adapted for.
Yes. And vegans, you're welcome to this channel, by the way. But we're probably going to encourage you to eat meat. I'm just saying that. I'm just throwing that out there. And there's several vegans. I think Jen Mann, Carrie Mann's wife, is one of them. Post in the comments, anyone, vegans that have turned to keto carnivore. There's a ton of them. There's a ton of them. Steak and butter gal, Bella, was a vegan before she came to this lifestyle. So there's a ton of them. You can find them out there. Another question. Juju, Dena or Amy? I find on carnivore I can't eat a pound of meat with 4 or 6 eggs. What is best to balance fat and protein? Thank you. So, what are your goals? First of all, what are your goals? Are your goals weight loss? Are your goals weight gain? Are your goals to feel better? What do you think the best fat to protein ratio is? I know we've got this somewhere in our books. Actually, Kim gave that to us. Is it hold on, let me get the answer for you. What are your thoughts on that, Dena?
So, I mean, mostly, and again, I look at this on an individual basis. I realize now it's really important. So, caveat this with you have to find out, and probably by trial and error, what is best for you. So that's why sometimes it's really good to use a trackers sometimes for your diet, at least so you know what you're actually eating. And you feel like that's a pain. I'm like you, but then I have found that it's been really necessary for me to do as I've started this carnivore journey because I'm constantly learning and I need to have that data to understand how my body's working on a carnivore diet. But 60 to 80% of the calories from fat, that means what, Amy, by volume, really only about a third of fat. And when you're eating a fatty steak, then that's already in that 60 to 80% range, like a ribeye, I believe. I think it depends on how fatty the ribeye is, but I believe, if memory serves me correct, that's about right.
I don't remember. Kim gave us a ratio early on in the course. and I don't remember what the exact ratio was, but what I recommend doing is what Dina said, tracking. Put it in there, put it in your tracker, okay? And find out what your ratio is and tweak it. Maybe add some fat. Try that for several weeks. If you're not getting the results you want, then maybe try adjusting your protein up and your fat down a little bit. Everybody's different, right? So I don't think there's a one size fits all ratio for everybody. I think there's a starting point maybe for everybody. And then I know even from listening to Kelly Hogan, she has with some people tweaked that fat down just a little bit, not cutting fat, but going down, maybe 10 grams of fat or, tweaking things down just a little bit. And I think that's going to be the key for everyone. It's going to be individual. Dina can't track her stuff and say, this works for me and I'm feel my best at this. And then I turn around and do that. That may not work for me. So I would say the way that I would say is track what you're eating, put it in either Chronometer, what's the other one I like? Carb Manager are the two that I really like and that I personally used. Get your current macros. Do not change anything for a week or two, right? And then try tweaking your fat up, okay? And do that for several weeks, maybe even a month, maybe even 30 days. If you're not getting the results you want, go back to the starting point. Then tweak the protein up a little, just and see how you feel that way. And then you'll have your answer. That's my thoughts personally. And again, we're not doctors or medical professionals. We're just coaches that are here to help people figure out, try things, your own N equal one, give you ideas, but we're not. And always consult your physician before changing your diet, right, Dina?
Right, right. And keep in mind too that there may be other things going into your body on with your body that may contribute to you're not feeling well. I have noticed.
Yeah. What
that,
have you experienced in that department, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, I'll just say it in this way: at times when I've been under a great deal of stress, traumatic life experiences, that that it's, for example, easier to gain weight eating the same thing. It's also easier to have sleep issues. That's a tremendous thing for me. This is, and by the way, and say for me, the last month on carnivore, I'm now in, and that along with lifestyle changes like getting out in nature and getting my walks in every day and getting that sun exposure, turning off the electronic, all that too. But unlike past diets, where, and especially if I was in a period of high stress, I would have like really severe sleep issues. I've been sleeping 8 hours a night every single night.
That's amazing.
Without fail.
Just since you went carnivore?
Yeah, especially I made some progress earlier in the year when I wasn't yet on carnivore, but I was still I had some periods where it was really hard. And in fact, early in 2025, I had a particularly rough patch. And I would, for example, sleep for an hour or two, then get up, and then for 5 or 6 or 7 hours could not get to sleep again. That kind of thing.
I'm so sorry about that.
It really wears your body down. So when you have that, or if you have undiagnosed hypothyroidism, condition, which if you're doing all the right things and not feeling well, that's one of many things that you can have checked out. Then and I I know I've heard stories of people that were doing really well on carnivore and then entered a high period of stress in their life, and all of a sudden they gained a tremendous amount of weight. Okay, there you
I'm
go.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yes. And my sleep, well, it's weird. So like I have too much to do with the classes and everything, so I stay up late. But when I do sleep, I sleep amazing. I'm just gonna say once I finally get to bed and sleep, but I have gotten a keto mojo to test my ketones and my blood glucose, and I'm never in, based on what it says, I'm never in ketosis, even though I eat only meat and eggs. And it's stress, it's sleep, I don't get sun, and I'm terrible at exercise right now. Right now.
Well, you got your to-do list of things to check, go through them, keep working on each one of them.
But it's temporary. It's temporary, and I know it's once we get through these classes and I start, my coaching business and everything else, and it's temporary. So there's light at, and we're almost through the end. We have a couple more a month, maybe a couple months, maybe. So
I've got to
I
catch
know
up with a few things in that class.
that's
But
okay.
I'm
If you,
learning so much. I'm not totally caught up, but I hope it shows that I'm really learning a lot. I think it'll be helpful for me.
I'm learning a lot too, and the biggest thing, like I said, that really surprised me is I thought coaching was going to be you tell people what to do and they do it and then they fix their lifestyle, right? If you
It's-
do that, you're gonna not have you're not gonna have results with people, and you're not gonna keep them as a client. What I found, it's all about listening to them, helping them realize what's going on in their life that's tanking their progress, finding out, you know, what their struggles are. It's all about listening. Sometimes people just need somebody to listen to every week, to listen to them. They just need someone to listen to them and
They need to
help.
have hope.
Yes, and to have hope. And we're examples. We're beacons. We're beacons of light for people to share with them our stories, and they see that what we've healed. And then, help just listen to them and help bring them to come to their own conclusions. It's not for us to tell them do this and you'll be better. It's not like that. That's what shocked me. I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna provide them with this list. Keep your carbs under 20, get rid of the seed oils, no potatoes, rice, pasta, blah, blah, blah. Just give them a list of things to do, and then we'll talk about it and see how that." No, that's not what it's about. Some of these people that are going to hire us as coaches have tried the proper human diet, have failed. And so we got to listen to them and get to the bottom of what it could be. Trauma, it could be stress, it could be, they're in a household that's not conducive to the lifestyle. It could be all kinds
That's
of
a
different
tough
things.
one. That's a really tough one. I hear that from people a lot. I can't do this. Just
I know.
my whole family will rebel, sort of thing.
Yep. So, we're going to be there for them and listen to them and try to help them come up with a solution together. It's
Yeah.
not about just telling people what to do. It's about helping them realize for themselves why they're not able to. And also, I think an important question is to ask people what their idea of a healthy lifestyle is, a healthy diet. Because if we just tell them that, they're going to be like, only eat meat, that's crazy. But I think by just having a conversation with them, we can get down to the bottom of, well, I think whole foods is a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
And then if they say, well, eat the rainbow, then, we can ask them, okay, are you eating the rainbow? And how is that working for you? Well, it's not. Okay, well, let's talk about the rainbow of things that you're eating, and let's just maybe, come down to exactly what you're eating, and that's where the tracking comes into play. We can tell the clients, let's have them eat for 2 weeks how they normally eat. Have them track everything they put in there. And then you can have a conversation with them about that and find out what their thoughts are that they're eating that maybe they shouldn't be. Sometimes it's asking them questions for them to realize on their own, well, maybe I shouldn't eat a half a loaf of wheat bread for dinner, you know, even though we've been told for decades that whole wheat bread is healthy, right? It's processed. Whole wheat bread in a package is processed. It's processed food. It's processed.
And it delivers sugar within a couple of minutes, massive amounts of sugar to your body because what's in the flour breaks down into sugar very, very
Yep,
quickly in your body. So
exactly. Have you ever tested your blood, or do you have a monitor or anything that you've done?
I have done it in the past, and honestly, I didn't. I sort of believe that if I was keeping my carbs under 10%, that that I was good. I think in retrospect, um, my it seems to me like my body was not, by keeping carbs low and even down to like I said, the last 2 or 3 years, 20 grams a day or 30 grams, even down there. It seems like my body still wasn't 100%. It wasn't like they would, like the things I heard in the past. Okay, you're magically going to be in ketosis, nutritional ketosis, it's
Mm-hmm.
called, and you and your body will burn fat preferentially. And I think I can look at what happened to my body during those years and say, well, I don't see any evidence of fat burning during those years. Now I think I'm seeing, but I'm really early. I think I'm seeing evidence of that in carnivore, but I have enough of a knowledge foundation plus learning learning both the science and also learning from other people's experiences during the course, the time I'm taking this class. I'm learning that um, that's that some people need to go lower than others. I do
Yeah.
want for anybody out there that, I just say this quickly, anybody out there that thinks, oh, I can't do carnivore. Well, that that's fine. Right now you can't. Focus on what you can do, because as you get on the PhD, it's going to improve your health.
Mm-hmm.
It may, because of other things going on in your body, it may not improve it as much as you hope for ultimately to improve it. And then we start working with you to figure out how you can get better at it. But it's going to improve you definitely in some ways, for sure. It's
For
going to
sure.
for you
Yes.
the standard American diet.
Okay, so I'm going to say hi to a few more people. My dad's in the house. Welcome, Dad. Helix is here. Welcome, Helix. Retired Rick. And Louis Lotito is here. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And this is Dina. She's in the PhD coaching class with me. That's how we met. So we're talking all things proper human diet talk. I think we can say that. Can we say that? We just learned it's a registered trademark. So I think we have to say Dr. Barry when we say that, but I'm not sure. That's Dr. Barry's registered trademark. Um,
I don't
oh, there
know,
was
but it's always good to give them credit regardless of whether you
it
have
is.
to. So
It
there
is.
you
So
go.
what made you want to go through the PhD coaching course, Dina? What made you decide that? The minute if are you like me, the minute I saw that pop up, I knew that was for me. Like I just knew.
I mean, it took me a little while to decide because, I mean, it's a big change for, actually just retired from my main job, doing something totally different. And then, but
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And I wanted to I wanted to do something to help other people, and as a big bonus, I've learned how to help myself, which is going to help me better help
Mhm.
other people in the future too.
For
So
sure.
it's
Yes.
it's been wonderful.
Yes. Rick, Dina is having issues with her camera. For some reason, it's blurry. We tried to figure it out before the live stream. We couldn't, so we just decided to go live with it. But
Sorry about
I,
that.
she's loud and clear, and you can see this like beautiful ghost image of her. Like, so thank you guys for your patience on that. But we couldn't figure it out.
Don't worry, I'm
Um,
healthy. I'm doing well, in spite of the
oh, I
camera.
need to make my dad. Hold on, I need to make my dad a moderator because he wants to post a link. Hold on. Oh my gosh, this chat is so fast. I can't even find my dad. My dad wants to post a link. Okay, dad, you are now a moderator, so you can post your link. Sorry about that. It would be crazy to think that I did not make my dad a moderator, but um, okay, you can post your link now, Dad. Oh, there was another thing I wanted to ask you. Oh man. I can't remember what it was. I really wanted to know. Um, have you experienced any negatives to eating carnivore? I mean, other than the under eating thing, you said you think you may be under eating, but you're smart. You'll figure that out. That's just a trial and error thing, and that just sometimes you got to build up too. You got to build up to it.
Yeah, it's frankly really, really hard for me to eat a lot, and I just don't get hungry. Not saying
I
this is
wish I had that
you.
problem. I have the
Yeah,
opposite
I'm
problem,
not
Dina.
saying
I'm
this
just
to
saying.
be their experience. I'm saying that's what my experience
Yeah.
has been.
I'm a little jealous. I wish I wasn't hungry. So, okay. So, if you don't
But
mind
I might
sharing,
end up, in accidentally doing protein sparing and
you
end up
might be. Yeah, if
this
you're eating lean meats, you might be. Because
yeah,
protein sparing is basically lean carnivore. It's
yeah.
just lean. It's just eating meat, but it's all lean meat, 1 to 3 days a week, not even every day. So what? Tell us about your typical meals. Do you eat OMAD? Do you eat 2MAD? Do you eat 3 meals a day? And what kind of meals do you eat?
Well, I mean, I have fallen into naturally, which has not been my past life experience on keto or anything else, into mostly 1 meal a day. Now, so the first time in weeks, I had breakfast this morning, but then I found I couldn't hardly eat anything for
Mm-hmm.
lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't get me to eat more today. Didn't work.
That's okay. I
Um,
mean, yeah. And so see, like I don't eat until noon because I'm trying to eat less a little bit or
yeah,
eat less meals and like
I'm
but
trying to go the other way. Yeah,
the minute I eat a meal, I'll eat like 4 or 5 eggs with butter on them.
yeah,
And then I'll eat like in the morning I'll eat a clean-ish sausage patty. Like Jones is the brand that I eat because it's cleaner. And then I'll have like 2 or 3 pieces of bacon. And the minute I finish the last bite, I'm like, I can eat another meal. Like I'm still hungry. And then I'm hungry 2 hours later. And it's like, I think my hormones are all out of whack.
yeah.
Plus,
Um, so I'll tell you what I ate today, and you can see how bodies are affected differently. It's like I had 2 thick slices of bacon, one moderate-sized chicken, sausage. I had what else did I have? I had like a really small hamburger, like only a couple ounces, and anything else? Oh, 2 eggs. That was it, and I was full. And then for lunch, I couldn't even eat half the amount I ate for breakfast.
Yeah, it sounds like you're eating very low, but I mean, you'll figure it out. You'll try to increase what you're already doing.
Well, the good thing is I still feel good. So maybe I'm not sure it'll be okay to do this for a period of time, but I'm pretty sure it won't be okay to do this forever. This won't be enough forever. So from all that I've learned, so I do need, so I'm taking kind of the approach, I'm not panicking, but I am trying to learn to deal with the opposite problem of what you have is, and maybe unconsciously there's this psychological thing where,
There could be.
I'm still afraid of food, and because the cravings are so much less for me on carnivore, I'm unconsciously just finishing meals too early, but it doesn't, I'll say it doesn't feel that way. It feels like I've had plenty to eat. That's what it feels like. That may not be true ultimately, but at least that's what it feels like. So it's hard, but I think I have some time to figure it out.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, not everything has to be done overnight. Okay, we got another question. Spanky says, Lewis, I think this is for Lewis. I have never fasted, maybe 8 hours max. If I'm about to try a fast, how long is realistic for me to try? And I think Lewis answered this. He said, like, work up to 18 hours. That's what I would do. I would try to do that and then maybe try a day fast, like maybe one day a week, then work up to 48 hours. I am not great at fast. I'm going to try to do this challenge that I think Barbara's Crochet Corner, and I would not recommend this for you, Dina. You're trying to eat more, not less. But for someone like me,
I did fast the first week of this, and then when I looked at my calories and everything, and I was encouraged to do that, and by Kim Howerton in our class, one of our instructors, I said, okay, you're already, I mean, in the past, I would say, oh, yippee, I can do this. I'm going to fast for 3 or 4 days or whatever. But now, with a little bit wisdom of the years and of instruction in the class, I said, okay, it's probably wiser not to try that. I'm already naturally doing mostly one meal a day.
yeah,
Don't try to push it anymore right now. As much as I want to lose all this fat,
you look great.
Well,
I don't think you need to lose any fat.
You haven't seen the places where I need to lose it.
I probably have the similar places, so don't worry about that. But that we may have in common. So we have a few more people who joined. Lexi Jones is here. Welcome. Jerry, my sister from another Mister, is here. And Virginia's in the house. Welcome, Virginia. And I think Virginia said that and Juju says, Dina, you look great. And Amy. Thank you, Juju. I think Virginia said she is Jerry's client. And she says, yes, glad to be here learning bunches. We are very happy you're here, Virginia. Thank you for joining us. So back to was it Spanky said he was fasting, and then just work yourself up, then try a 48-hour fast. I don't know what your goal is, how long you want to fast. To me, I like to eat. So like fasting till noon from the night before is hard for me. And then fasting after dinner, and I don't always do it. Sometimes I still eat a late night snack, but I know that's the stress response happening late night when I'm trying to get things done. I'm like, I'd rather eat than study, kind of thing. Or I'd rather eat than do fill in the blank, right? Yep. Virginia says, Jerry's my coach. I love her. Jerry is a special person and she's amazing. She went through the Kilts coaching course, which I'm also taking right now.
Oh, you're taking double dipping. Wow.
That was an accident, by the way. So I did an interview on Dr. Kiltz's membership or on his channel, and he gave me free coaching courses because I said my dream is to become a health coach. And so at the very end, he's like, by the way, you're admitted into the course. And I was like, that means double the work.
Oh,
But
it's well, that's great.
I love both of them, though. I mean, I'm learning so much in both of them. Okay. Do you mind if we take a break and talk about Keto Palooza for just a minute? Because I don't want to keep you too long tonight, and we're already an hour and 15 minutes into this. If you don't mind, I would like to share my screen and just give an update about. Okay, so I don't know if everyone has heard about Keto Palooza, but can you guys see that? Yes. Okay, so Keto Palooza. A local friend of mine went to it in 2023. It is a meetup, right? And for those of you in the PhD community or those of you who aren't in the PhD coaching, this is where, so Dr. Barry goes, Nisha goes. This year, I believe Kim Howerton is going. Let's see who else. Let's just look at here. And it's going to be October. Oh, I got to come back over here. So this is going to be, and it's hosted by Keto Chow, October 8th through the 10th. So it's Thursday through Saturday this year instead of Friday through Sunday. And it's not going to be held at the Galt House, but the two people who really got me started were Dr. Barry and Maria Emmerich. And so that's why I decided to go in 2024 was because I'm like, these, were my two favorite people in 2024. And Autumn Weathers is the host. She's not ketogenic anymore, but she is the founder of this particular meetup. And it is, I think it's $219 for those days. Now, pay attention to some of the channels. Like, pay attention to Dr. Barry's channels because they're going to give a coupon code. Some of the channels will give a coupon code. I want to give my little blurb here.
Okay.
Interesting. So, the venue this year will be held at Founders Union on the University of Louisville Shelby campus. So this is what it looks like. That's pretty much what the old venue looked like. And they're going to be adding speakers. So it's not just Dr. Barry and Maria Emmerich. I think Coach Bronson and Natalie were there. Oh my gosh, I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. He lost a bunch of weight and then his dad died of diabetes. Can't think of his name. Dustin, are you still here? Post in the comments. So also this year, last year was 2 years ago, it was at the Galt House, and the Galt House also had hotel rooms in it. This year, the venue is separate from the hotel room. So, there is going to be a little bit of a drive. Jerry and I have decided to room with each other. We may need to take bail money with us because you never know with Jerry and I what could happen. So we may have a GoFundMe for bail money, but I'm just kidding, Jerry. You know that. But yeah, so they haven't announced all of the speakers, but the tickets will go on sale. I think early bird for those of us who went in 2024 on Friday. Let's see if it says when the tickets go on sale. And that is really what launched me into this community. You guys would not see me here today if it was not for Keto Palooza. The reason being is I have been ketogenic since 2018. Okay, I've been ketogenic for going on 8 years, carnivore since this July. But when I went to Keto Palooza, there were several people including Coach Alyssa. Coach Alyssa and I had a talk about being a coach back then. She couldn't tell me that the PhD coaching course was coming up because I think she was under whatever, not to say anything, but she says something's coming out. So I didn't know what was coming out. But because of Keto Palooza, that gave me and everybody I met there, the Bears, the two crazy ketos, Maria Emmerich, Dr. Barry, they're the ones who told me to launch this channel. And within a month, this channel was launched because of Keto Palooza. So this is like and here's the other interesting thing I just got to say. So I would go on Monday nights, I would go into Dr. Barry's channel and I would just sit there and I would just put it on and I would cook and clean and do all the stuff, right? But I never really chatted because his chat is crazy. If you've ever been in Dr. Barry's chat, it's nuts. Like you have to super chat and spend money. And even then, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm successful. I've lost 110 pounds. I didn't know there was this whole community out here. I did not know that we have Jerry's channel. We have Thomas's channel. We have Grandma's Crochet Corner, Barbara. We've got all these people out here. Peter, Papa Carnivore, Lewis. There's like all these people out here and we're a family. This is a big family. And it wasn't until, I went on Dustin's channel. And it was funny because I was subscribed to Keto Simple since 2018. I went to go subscribe to him after Keto Palooza, and I'm like, oh, I was already subscribed. I was never watching this. And then Maria Emmerich, I would watch her stuff, but I, wouldn't comment. And then that started the snowball effect of me being in this YouTube community, keto carnivore community. And it has been such an inspiration. And I think I said the other day, one of the reasons why I have a channel, it's not to make money. Trust me. I'm not here. I will never be rich off of this. But I need you guys just as much as hopefully you need me, because doing this keeps me accountable. I want to be true to this community and true to this lifestyle and true to every single one of you. And so you guys help me as much as I help you. So thank you for everyone, who tunes into me every week, and everyone like Dena who gets their bravery up and decides to come on and share their story. So I don't know. Have you been to any meetups, Dena?
Keto specific, I have not been in person to anything, but this looks like a good one for me to go to.
It is. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Post in the chat if you guys are going to Keto Palooza or you would be interested in going to that. It's obviously for carnivores. Okay. For those people who want to know, I'm going to in July. I think it's July 25th. I'm going to Chicago for the Kilts meetup. Is that July? Oh, wait. In September, I am going to Kalamazoo, Michigan, because that's an hour and a half away from me, to the Kilts meetup. And then in October, I'm going to Keto Palooza because that's the meetup that started this all for me. And it doesn't matter whether it's called Keto Palooza, but it doesn't matter if you're keto carnivore or not. That's the point I want to bring up. So you said when you first started carnivore, you made a comment about, I forget what the exact comment was, but when I hesitated in starting carnivore for years. First of all, because I thought I didn't need it. And the other reason was there were certain carnivore spaces that were like anti-keto. Like they weren't very welcoming, right? They weren't very welcoming. And so like, I thought there was all this tension between keto and carnivore and like, it just kind of, I don't know. It just felt weird. I'm like, I don't want to be in that because I don't want to act like that. Now the people in the carnivore community accepted me even before I was carnivore with open arms. Okay. So there's been a shift from what I saw in the beginning between the two, but for years, it seemed like there was separation. It was like two separate communities. And what I want to do here, Lewis says we love our keto cousins. This channel, all are welcome. I don't care if you're eating standard American diet. I don't care if you're eating keto, you're eating carnivore. Even if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you're welcome here as long as you're respectful to, the family here. But yeah, like Lewis says, we love our keto cousins. I'm carnivore now, but I did 7 successful years of ketogenic lifestyle, right? 7 successful years. So some people might be okay with that. Lewis says no vegans. As long as they're nice, Lewis, we might change their minds. Think about it that way, Lewis. So, I want my community to be a community to bridge the gap and a place for everyone. So that we can, like Lewis said, be cousins. We can be cousins and family members. So, what are your thoughts on that, Dena?
Yeah, and this is where I go back to not just proper human diet idea by Ken Berry, but his idea that there's a spectrum and based on that spectrum, as I said earlier, I heard him say that he thought it's probably only 10 to 15%, but actually that's much larger than I thought in the past it was. But still, only 10 or 15% probably actually need to go all the way to carnivore on that spectrum. Now, I don't think anybody, well, unless there's some really rare condition somebody has, but normally almost anyone could go on it and it'd be very healthy for them, but it's not like you have to go on to get the optimal health. Not for everyone. I think you and I, Amy, are probably people that had to get to this point to really meet all of our health goals.
Yep. I agree. And I just wasn't feeling good anymore after 7.5 years on keto, and I needed to try something different, I just did. And I'm gaining weight, which is not a goal, but I'm feeling better, which is definitely a goal. And there's something to be said for that. And I don't know about you, Dena, but this energy is amazing that I'm getting. I took down 3/4 of my Christmas decorations in like 2 days, which my house looks like the Griswolds. Have you ever seen that movie? So that's a lot. Like it takes me a long time to take down my Christmas tree, but I just feel like so energetic and alive. And I don't know if you've noticed your energy increase even since November.
Yeah, it has, and I think a good sign of how I am getting better aligned and energy wise is along with it has come the really good sleep. For that's
Yes.
really, I think, helpful. And I realize now at this point in my life that it really everybody needs to have quality sleep. And if you're not getting it for whatever reason, a lot of times it's stress related, but there can be other things too. But if you're not getting it, that's a really important thing to work on. And that's where all the other things that go along with the proper human lifestyle, in addition to the diet, are really important. And that's what we hope we can help people find, that whole spectrum of things that you can do for yourself that are going to get you there. Maybe for you, you won't get there all the way with the energy, at least not at first with carnivore, and you need to do some additional things with your lifestyle to get all the way there. But it's definitely, if you're feeling like you're not especially if you're already on pretty low carb keto and you've cut out all the processed foods you've done. If you're at a point where you've done all that and you see there are other things that are still going on, that carnivore is definitely worth something thinking about.
Yeah, carnivore. And then if you still aren't doing well, again, we're not doctors or medical professionals, but have your thyroid. And the book is over here, but
Common Sense
the
Labs.
Common Sense Labs, thank you. And the new version. It will tell you, the book will tell you what thyroid panel, full thyroid panels, because most doctors don't check the full thyroid panel. They just check a subset, and it's not very good at testing for like Hashimoto's, for example. So you want to make sure you get that book and you read what tests Dr. Barry recommends having, and then also hormones. Like, I also think my hormones are all out of whack, probably for under eating fat for so many years, maybe. And
Yeah.
so you may want to talk to your doctor, and the book also talks about what tests you can have for that.
It's a
Any
great
final
book.
questions? Yeah, any final questions for Dina? I want to be respectful of her time. It's been an hour and a half, and I think that we're going to be good pals going forward, Dina, and I see collaborations in the future. Oh, where can we find you on social media? Do you have a channel?
I don't yet. I just wrote you an email and say I'm really bad about that. It's been I'm a pretty private person, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Um, but what I so and maybe Amy, you can help
I
give me a
can.
kick in the
Yep.
pants and a little guidance.
Well, and so here's about YouTube. You have to get 50 subscribers, okay, before you can do lives like this.
Okay.
But you can record your videos and you can upload those. And I will send you a copy of this one. You will be able to, because I think this is we've had a great conversation here. So I will send you this video. You can upload it to your channel, right? And then as you get 50 subscribers, then you can do lives like this and have panels. And once you can do that, I will come on your channel and you can interview me. And what another thing you can do when you start your channel, you can come back on my channel and we will get you 50 subs in one night. We will post
All
your link
right.
here once you get your channel up and running. And I'm pretty sure we have 41 people watching here. So I'm pretty sure everyone here, that night you decide to come back on, we will get you your subs so you could do live streams and you could do whatever you want. Okay, I'll help you do that. Even though I'm still a small channel, but I guarantee you, I guarantee you that we will get you subs. And also, Thomas, Target Prime Rib, likes to do interviews too. So if you want to get more practice, you could consider going on his channel. Um, uh,
Yeah, Thomas, hit me up. This has been really good practice for me, and I sent. At least I have an email that I can use for communicating about coaching related stuff. I sent it to Amy. If you email Amy,
okay, so can I post that in the chat? Do
if
you
you want, you can
mind?
post that one, and it's in my last email message.
Okay, so let
I gave
me.
you I gave you one that's specifically going to be for.
Is it the AOL one?
There's two AOL ones. It's Dena Barrett PhD at AOL.com.
Okay. So I'm going to type this in here.
DENA
Yeah.
BARRETT PhD
PhD.
at
Okay.
AOL.com.
Okay. So I'm going to pin this. So, Thomas, if you want to email Dina, I pinned that or if anybody is looking for a health coach in a month or two,
Not certified yet, but
we are not certified yet. And you like Dina's style, you know. So, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing, Amy, can I say?
Yes. Sure. We can
I
talk as much as you
just
want.
I just think it's really it's perfect tonight that we you know how I started out talking about how everyone's experience is different and you really have to dig down into what's going on in your
Mhm.
own life and figure out what's going to work for you. I think it's perfect that we both have started carnivore and we have like these really different experiences.
I
We're
know.
both benefiting, but the path it's a different path because our bodies are different and our history is different.
Okay, so
And
let's do a 6-month check-in. In 6 months, I'll reach out to you to schedule another interview and we can go over like what new
that will be
things
fascinating.
what new
I
things
am
we've done on
eager to
carnivore.
find out what happens in both you and me.
Yeah, me too, because we're kind of newbies on the scene. We're
Yeah,
newbies on the scene, but we're going through coaching and it's like sometimes I feel like how am I going to coach somebody on carnivore when I've only been on it since, July, but the concepts are not hard. Just because we go through our own struggles and our own situations doesn't mean that we can't help someone else, right?
absolutely. In fact, I remember one thing one of our instructors said is that we all we all need we all are still learning, and I can benefit from somebody when I'm having trouble figuring out certain things. I can
Mhm.
benefit from an experienced coach, and
Yes.
and then that will help me reach a new level in the way I can help others. We're always learning, but
Even coaches need coaches. Coaches, and they
yeah,
they suggested that. They said, coaches should have coaches too. So that was said in the class. Oh my gosh, guys, look, I'm not behind in chat. The reason why I'm not behind in chat is because I have my automatic chat reader. And so that's how I'm able to keep up with chat. So does that bother anybody that I have an automatic chat reader now? Because Dina, I don't you've probably not been on my channel very long, but I usually get an hour behind on chat just because I have the most amazing followers and uh they they all like chat too much and so I can't manually read through them or even post them. So I got a chat reader and it posts the chat automatically for me and then I have a filter over here that reads the question that I can focus on the questions.
I'm
So
definitely
tonight
going to have to ask you about how to do that
uh
because
I have to use OBS Studio and it's very technical. But yeah, chat reader is awesome. Lynn says you're caught up. Yeah. So the chat reader is going to be the answer to my chat problem. And every chat will get posted. And then the questions I can focus on over here. So Thomas says, I thought the rules were that you're supposed to be an hour behind. Nope. Nope. Not anymore, guys. Not anymore. So yeah, I figured out a solution to my problem, which that's what we're going to do as coaches too, right, Dina? Figure out solutions. Help people figure out their own solutions is what we're going to do. So, oh, I'm going to hit you up. I may even schedule a 6 month with you now and just get it on the calendar. So I will email you and we can figure out a 6 month date to come back on and we can talk about how we're doing on carnivore
I'm going to
by
be so
then.
fascinated.
I
I
know.
can't wait to see
Yes.
what happens.
Yes. So, I am going to. Did you have any other final thoughts, Dina?
Oh, just thank you for inviting me. It's been I've really enjoyed being in the class with you, and this this really been a good opportunity for me to get over the hesitation and
Yes, and you did great. If you were nervous, nobody even noticed. I promise you that. You are doing great, and I want to thank you for coming on and being a guest on my channel. You're a beautiful shining light in this community, and now everybody knows who you are. Well, everybody at least on my channel, which is maybe 40 people, but but there's a lot of people from a lot that go to a lot of different channels that come in here. So, you've made a bunch of new friends tonight. I promise you that. And we'll work on getting your channel up and you can do this. Oh, wait. Helix has a question. Do you feel a difference in your skin? It looks more soft. Not that I keep track of that. Okay. So, yeah, I got to take a moment to explain that because last spring my face was drawn. I had dark circles under. I mean, I kind of still have bags, but that's just because I don't sleep as much as I should now. But I had dark circles under my eyes, right? And I'm going to be 50 years old in a couple months. I do have wrinkles. You can't see them. Now I've gained some weight, right? I've gained some weight, but my face, I feel like I look younger than I did 6 months ago. I mean, I'm 50 years old, so I'm half 100, so it's not going to get better from here. But I do feel like since going carnivore, my skin has gotten better, and I do feel like it. Thank you for noticing, Helix. Thank you for noticing. I do feel like it. Even though my pants are tighter, which I don't like that, I do feel like my skin is better and that I look better than I did when I was skinnier. I don't know. So there's that. So that's promising, right? That's
Yeah.
promising.
Yeah,
So
I've had that too, and that's really nice.
I know you look like you're 25, Dina. You look
Oh,
like you're 25. So very pretty. So
well, thank you.
Thomas says you look great, Amy. I would have thought you were a lot younger. Yeah, Helix says I forgot you're 50 years old. Age doesn't matter on carnivore. It doesn't. And actually, I started looking better on keto even. Like if you look at my 30s pictures, I looked worse than I did in my early 40s when I first started keto. I just did. I looked worse. Like you put side by sides and I look better, I think. But a lot of people do. I think everything heals. Your skin heals. You just heal. Thomas says I'm 96, but no one believes me. You're not 96, Thomas. You're just a couple years older than me, really. I think he's like 52 or 53. So, anyway, I don't want to hold you hostage, but I am going to try to schedule something with you in like 6 months and we can come together again and do a recap on our carnivore journey. So, everybody knows the drill, right? So, at the end of the stream, first of all, thank you, Dina, for coming on. We're going to do the rolling credits. The rolling credits, folks. So, let me just swap this. And we're going to do the rolling credits. Everybody ready? Everybody have a great night. And yes, Brian, eat the meat for sure. Here we go, guys.